Anyone that wishes to address the board? We move now to item number 6, communication from administration. Item 6A is the superintendent's update, including an ADA update, curriculum and instruction update, and a SHAC update.
Thank you, Mr. Kufal. I'm going to go ahead and call up Mr. Gonzalez, our truant officer, to present the information about ADA and ADA update. All of you should have the PowerPoint in your packets, I hope.
So good to see everybody again. Mr. President, Dr. Bettis, trustees, if you look at slide 1, we'll look at our enrollment as of September 19. HMK was at 917, Gillette was at 457, Harvey was at 478, Carroll was at 320, and Bettis was at 359 for a total of 2,531. Which is right in line with our projected enrollment of 2,535.
Mr. Gonzalez, how was this, okay, this time last year, what did our numbers look like?
We're a little bit lower than last year. We last year I think we topped out at 26.
At the same time?
Yes, we were lower than last year.
Go ahead and bring that up the next one.
Yes, ma'am. If you go to the next slide, we see our attendance from the beginning of the year to September 19th. Numbers are really, really good. Our HM King is at 90%, Gillette is at 92.3%, Carroll is at 95.2%, Harvey at 94.6%, and Bettis at 94.1%, for a total of 93.28%. Really proud of those numbers. A lot of hard work has gone into that. A lot of principals, assistant principals, CIS, attendance clerks that are doing a lot of work, making calls, just getting out there. And like I said, I hope you guys like that. I kind of said it was good news, right? But that's some good information. I would like to thank our parent liaison, Margie Galindo, our attendance clerks, Risa Nevajar, Latanja Fisher, Anise Marquez, Sylvia John from Bettis, Christina Lopez, our CIS ladies are Vicky Dreseño, Magda Reina, Punky Guajardo, Jessica Garcia, and Ruth Ochoa, and Brittany Scott. Everybody plays a big role in what we're doing right now. Our procedures that we put in place, in the past couple of years, are being followed. People are making calls, and like I said, I think people are taking ownership of what we're doing. We're being intentional. We're being intentional, and we're doing a lot of work. We're really happy with where we're at right now. Working with Dr. Sandoval and Max Segovia, we've made a goal of 94% district-wide. We're there. We just got to stay there. I hope, whenever the flu season comes, we're able to fight it and sanitize and do all those things. But right now, we're doing well, and hopefully we can keep it up.
It kind of be off the subject, but kind of goes along with this. Last Friday was the last day to recover. What is it, the school start date?
School start window.
Okay. So were we able to recover all the kids?
Not all of them. We left the year before. 2 years ago, we were at a 5%. Last year, we were at a 2.1, and we will probably be at a 2.9 this year. There's some kids that are incarcerated. There's some kids that are in relationships, and some families have 3 or 4 kids that we couldn't find their CPS cases. So, but we will have all that info since it was Friday, and we will gather all that information, and we are gathering some homeschool letters, and some people say, I'm going to give you a homeschool letter, and then you can't buy them. So we are gonna gather our information, and we'll have all complete information by the next.
Can we still count that information when we get it, or
Yeah,
if Friday was Friday?
No, well, if they started school 2 months ago, you can count. You know, if they enrolled in school today or tomorrow,
Right.
we're done. Yeah, they will be counted as a dropout. But anything, you know, again, some people tell us like, well, we've been homeschooling and then you can't find them, you know, and then we'll look for them until they tell us, well, actually, no, we don't. We didn't homeschool or here's the homeschool.
So this year we weren't able to recover more kids than last year.
No, we weren't. We had everybody trying. We had everybody trying again. We have a lot of kids that, you know, went through some legal issues.
Right.
And a lot of kids are in relationships and they're working. Like, you have some families that 2 or 3, you know, that I think one is 4, so maybe 3. And but we try. But again, we're gonna keep on making the calls to, you know, until the very end.
So you're thinking it's about 2.1, from 2.1% to 2.9%?
Yes, that's where I think
That's what
we're
you're
gonna end up. Yes, ma'am. And there might be a variance, but it's, you know, we were working hard.
Right, I know you.
If you go to the next slide, ADA comparison to last year for the first 6 weeks, really proud of that as well. HMK for the first 6 weeks last year, we were at 87.3. This year, we're at 90.1. Gillette, 90.6. Last year, we're at 92.6. Harvey, 92.9. This year, we're at 94.6. Harrow, 93.4. This year, 95.2. I mean, excellent numbers. And Bettis at 92.0, 92%. And now this year, there's 94%. And so we've done a lot. There's a big difference. We did really, really well. One of the things I didn't mention is, you know, I mentioned all the people that have done a lot of hard work. We also implemented some new impact team meetings, and we've been having those, which we'll see how many we've done here in a little bit. And those have really helped us out, just get to know the kids, what's going on in their lives. You know, they have stomach issues. Well, what kind of stomach issues? That they turn in a note to the nurse from the doctor, you know. So we're just finding out a lot of new things, and that's how we're pursuing this. So it's really helping us out.
Mr. Gonzalez.
Go ahead.
So I think it's worth mentioning, in a positive for all of you, that during that whole gun fiasco copycat thing,
Yes,
that brought it down some. I mean, the kids are getting a little bit higher than that.
yes, sir. I wish we would have, you know, kind of gotten those out of the way, but they are calculated in here. I think high school was at 60%
Right.
one of those weeks, and it is calculated in here. So it would have been exponentially higher, I think, because those are 2-3 day things. You know, so thank you for that, sir.
These are great numbers. I mean, you all should be celebrated and definitely acknowledged about this. You're doing a fantastic job. I think Mr. Segovia told me this morning that we're gonna have about 900 some odd kids qualified to go through the run through at the football game. So, because of an attendance incentive. So y'all get your seats quickly if you're gonna get to the football game.
We had one of the incentives for the elementaries, if they had good attendance for a certain amount of days, basically for about 4 or 5 weeks, they would get a ticket to go to the football game and run out with the football team. Well, we ended up with 966 kids. So, you know, so it's a good problem to have. You know, we're gonna need people there.
When you talk about impact teams, who are part of those teams?
As right now, it's me, it's Margie Galindo, which is the parent liaison, attendance clerk, assistant principal, counselor, and nurse, and Adaya, if she's
From each
available.
campus?
Yes. Today, you know, sometimes they're busy, and so today, as a matter of fact, we had 2 impact meetings, and, you know, hey, nurse, can you come in real quick? Is this going on? Do you know about this? Yes. Okay, thank you very much. You know, because they're busy, so we call them in, they're signing in and stuff, so, we got a good group, and there's always somebody that knows something about a child that, you know, this person doesn't know, so they're going well.
Thank you.
But again, these were the first 6 weeks comparison, and yes, Mr. Chapa, that we killed us, you know, so we go to the next slide. You can see we've had 26 meetings at HMK, impact meetings. We met about 26 students. At Gillette, we met about 11. We have another meeting tomorrow. Harvey, we've done 10. Harold, we've had 4. We've talked about 4 students. And Bettis, we talked about 5. Okay, the elementaries, again, we don't have as many as the high school and Gillette, so that's a good rational number right there.
So on the high school, 26, are they unduplicated counts? Are they the same kids or is it 26 different students?
26 different students.
Okay, so
You know,
none of them are repeaters.
No. If they have to come up again, it's like, well, what are we gonna do about the student? They come up in that way, because he's still missing. And so, but we still gotta follow the procedures, which is letters, attendance improvement plan, and maybe another letter. So we're doing that. And right now, we're in a good place where, we did meet with the judges, and they are expecting us to do our due diligence and meet with the students. And like you said, we've met with students before, and, they miss the next 2 days, so, but we still gotta wait till they hit a certain point.
Yeah.
Next. The next slide is where we received some students, sat down with our PEAMS person, and we went through these through, TRX requests and just trying to figure out where all of our kids are coming in from. As you can see, we got a good amount from Jubilee that came back to us. Rivera had 8. We got 8 from Ricardo, 6 from Corpus Christi ISD, and Corpus Christi, I think we included West Oso here as CCISD. Bishop, we got 6 back. Central Community, we got 4. Every GP, we got 3. Toloso 2, and Driscoll 2 for 66. We did have 60 leave, which you can see on the next page. So, but we basically had, we got 6 more than we lost.
Question, do we have any yo-yo kids of the 66 and the 60 that left, any of them the same kid?
They will come back. They leave and then they come back.
We do have some yo-yos.
Yes, we do have, even the question was asked today, what happens if they leave with 8 absences, and they go to Bishop? Well, if they come back, they still have 8 absences, because we actually discussed that today. So yes, we do have a few of those, not a lot, but we do have a couple.
I think we got 2 more today, the high school was telling me when we had a meeting from SGA.
Our truancy cases right now, we've filed 1. We got a couple of cases pending at the high school. We're just building a case. But this one, this child, the parent was really, not paying attention, and we had to really expedite this one. And it is an elementary student. Just getting back to our district incentives, we do have a yearly incentive where students with perfect attendance will receive a tablet. There won't be a drawing, they will receive a tablet. We have quarterly, and it's a quarterly incentive, which at the end, students with 94% attendance for 9 weeks have a chance to win a TV. We did some marketing, and we look for good prices, and we found some good prices. So every elementary students with 94% attendance will run out with the football team this weekend, and 966 made it. So they basically missed 1 day.
That's a lot of kids.
1 day. So that's pretty impressive, but we're happy about that, and hopefully we can keep it going. And I don't know if we have some more volume, we can do it another 3 weeks. The weekly incentives can be 1, 2, or 3 week incentives. Student with good attendance have a better chance to win the drawing. We also have we bought $5 gifts, prizes, $10 prizes, $15 prizes. And if we set a week incentive, there'll be a drawing for 2 students, and they might win a little Bluetooth speaker that was worth, $5, $10, and to maybe more expensive ones for the longer incentives. And the last one is the dating incentive. Well, when we met, we realized that Thursday was a rough day. Sometimes the students were taking a longer weekend, so we set an incentive for every Thursday. So every Thursday we're drawing 2 names, and it's really helped out. And so we're drawing 2 names. Students are winning. And if you go to the next page, those are 2 of the students that won the drawing. I think the little girl won a little pink tumbler, Stanley looking tumbler. And as a matter of fact, we're already gonna be giving away Stanleys on the next 2 weeks. And the young girl, the 5th grader, took home LED lights. So those are really nice gifts. As you can see, trying everything we can to get our attendance up. Everybody's working hard, no complaints. As long as we keep on meeting with the principals, principals making calls, we're making calls, CIS, parent liaisons, attendance clerks, I think we'll have the same success. Again, we gotta get by flu and all that. Hopefully
Mr. Gonzalez, you mentioned that you went through it real fast. I didn't get to quite hear what you said. Why is Thursday a rough day?
Well, because it's, of course, we go through Thursday, right? And some parents will just, it's like, they take a longer weekend. They'll take, instead of Friday, Saturday, Sunday, they'll take Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Fridays used to be the rough day.
Yeah. So but it seems like things improved. And like I said, I think we were gonna try and have a number on the next one to see how much it helped us out. So, but that was one of our strategies, to have an incentive for Thursday.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions to Mr. Gonzalez? If not, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, we will go ahead and call up Dr. Olivia Ballesteros.
Thank you. President Krupa, Board of Trustees, Superintendent Perez. Sorry, I'm a little taller, so I'm gonna kind of see if I can use my principal voice. Okay, so you've received the data, and basically we kind of explained what readiness standards are, supporting standards. You guys know what they are. Readiness standards, of course, are students are going to be tested on readiness standards that say the kids are ready for the next grade level. Supporting standards are the ones that support getting the kids ready for the next grade level. So, so we included that just to kind of make sure that everybody's on the same page. And the data that we shared with you all is on Wonders, our reading program, and Eureka at the elementary levels. And then at the high school, middle school levels, we have the Study Sync program for reading, and we have the Carnegie program for math. So I'm just jumping around, Mr. Israel, so just so you know, I'm just kind of addressing the different programs that we have. So I just wanted you guys to be aware that we do have different programs, but we do have the reading programs and we have our math programs that we are sharing information with you all. We wanted to share teak to teak, just kind of like where we were at the beginning of year last year and where we are beginning of year this year. There are other teaks that are tested, but they weren't kind of comparable, so we really couldn't share that with you guys, but we will be sharing more data with you all. We want to show you where our kids are, what Tier 1 instruction is doing in our classrooms, and how our kids are growing. So we've had some increases, and of course, we've had some decreases. Our kids are going to be fluctuating. We're not measuring kid right now, we're measuring teak to teak. Okay, so just wanted you guys to be aware. There are some things that caused our increases. You know, our coaching, we have our coaches here present. They've been doing a phenomenal job of coaching our teachers whenever needed. We do have schedules that we follow. Our coaches follow their schedules, and right now we're also making sure that our staff have the resources that are necessary for them to be able to deliver the Tier 1 instruction. So curriculum is really important. The materials that go with it are very important, and we're trying to get those in their hands. Okay, so you guys have seen the data. Go ahead and click it, Israel. Do you all have any questions upon what you've seen in the data?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. We'll start at the beginning. Second grade, this is the Wonders program, is that correct?
Yes.
And it's the same program we had last year.
Yes.
All right. For the educators in the room, when you look at that, where should a kid be?
Well, it's beginning of year, so as a second grader, you're learning new teaks. So second grade is kind of expanding from what they learned in first grade. In first grade, they're learning how to read. In second grade, we're expanding that. Reading comprehension is our next step. Now, because our kids are at second grade level, writing is a big issue for them right now, because of course they're learning how to read first, and so then the writing will kick in. So beginning of year to beginning of year, our kids are doing well, our tier one instruction is well. Now, we have our teams that can answer your question at a,
And I'm guessing that because this is the first 6 weeks,
It's the beginning of
or the
year.
beginning,
beginning of year,
you probably have a dip from the end of the year because of the summer.
correct.
So how often will we see this? And let me phrase it another way. We'll take the very first one, 2.2B. The 61, by the end of the year, should that be 100? Or by the end of the year, will there be other things being measured there?
There will be other things measured.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Because these are beginning of year teaks, and then of course we build on them. So you'll see additional ones, but they're incorporated into, like I said, if this is a supporting teak, then it's going to be incorporated so that we can build on the readiness teaks. Yes, sir. So you may not see it specifically 2.2B at the end of the year, but we are going to be measuring it and keeping an eye on it to make sure that our kids are staying at that level or higher. Definitely.
And my guess would be that 2.2B is necessary to hit maybe not the next one, but a couple of these. I mean, it's all kind of building on itself.
Yes, sir, because it's word decoding, and so they have to be able to decode their words, to be able to build sentences, to be able to comprehend what they're reading, and so they all kind of build on each other. Yes, sir.
And this would be the entirety of the second grade,
Yes.
correct? So you've got some that may be at 75 and some that may be at 40.
Correct.
And y'all are taking and individualizing instruction or support for those.
Yes, sir, and so, that being said, we also look at other data. This is just one piece of that.
Okay.
We also have M-Class that our kids are just using FOI right now. They have the beginning of year data. We have our reading academy teachers that are targeting some of these areas and pulling our students, utilizing that data. So yes, it's a constant review of data and pulling our kids to small group instruction and to be able to meet them at their needs and of course accelerate it.
Now, in October, we do want to be bringing you all, like, reading level, where, like, in second grade, how many students are reading on this grade level reading? How many students are at this point and this point? So that data in October
Right.
should be more, I guess, cumulative
Right,
in some way.
right. We're doing cumulative assessments, as a matter of fact, this week. And so we'll be able to give you more additional data to be able to determine how many kids are below grade level, well below grade level, how many are on grade level, and how many are above grade level.
And then in terms of math at Eureka, that was the same program last year also, was it not?
Yes, sir. The difference with Eureka is we did start a little bit later in the year last year. And so this year we began it at the beginning of the year, plus we had the additional professional development. So our goal is to see many more increases as we go,
Thank you.
because we did start it at the beginning.
Dr. B,
Yes, sir.
pardon my ignorance of these questions. Is this a diagnostic or is it you consider it a baseline? How would you say that?
Actually, no, sir. This is not a baseline. Our baseline is our beginning of year amplified in class that we will be using. This is more just, this is where we were last year in terms of the TEAP, and it's really looking at tier one instruction. How are we doing in terms of what is the delivery of instruction by our teachers?
And
in our
are you
kids'
gonna
learning?
repeat this exact same test a month from now, 2 months from now, or?
It's several different assessments that we've been given, like maybe one or two at the beginning of the year, like mid-module, module, end of module. So we will be testing some of these things, yes, and we will be seeing growth or not, but we will be re-looking at these tests. Maybe not exactly the same way, but we will be re-looking at these tests. Yes,
We're gonna spiral them
yes,
through
it will be
this, so that way we can
spiraling
be seen if, like, 2.2. When we test it again, we do need to see, has there been growth?
So it's really not it's not a diagnostic, but it is something that we will be monitoring.
Thank you.
Other questions? I know we just started at second grade. If I go through each grade level, but if you have questions as we go, it's okay. It's just, it's a lot of data. And so I know you guys have taken the time to see it. So that's what I was wondering, is there any other questions I can answer for you?
I guess the only other question I have, and I hate to do this to you, and anyone here can feel free to chime in. When you all see this, what is most alarming and what is most encouraging?
What's most alarming is, of course, the writing process, because it ties to our extended constructed responses, or constructed responses. And so that's alarming. We definitely want to continue to push writing. In terms of math, math is kind of like, you know the number, you don't know the number. And so there's certain things that you have to have foundationally. And so we've got to concentrate on that and accelerate that instruction. So it just, I mean, when you look at district-wide, there's areas that we definitely want to target. Now, ladies, do you all have anything you all would like?
Would you like to add anything, Ms. Flowers or Ms. Perkins?
I'll speak to the math. You're right, some of it is encouraging and some of it, you look at each individual team and you want to wonder, okay, well, what did we do here? How did we teach that? With this being our second year using Eureka and using Carnegie, our teachers have a better sense of how to internalize this material. It's very different from what they're used to. And when we walk into the classroom, we see different things. It's a lot more student-led. But this year, and I think some of this speaks to that, they're better equipped to handle this curriculum, and I think it's growing. So there's definitely things that I'm hopeful for and I'm excited for, and I know that we have areas we're going to focus on. And
What are you most
Ready to
worried
go.
about? What skills are you most worried about?
I think I'm not worried.
I
love it.
I want to focus on Algebra 1 for sure. We haven't used Carnegie in Algebra 1, so our 8th graders are using Carnegie for that, and our high school is using Carnegie for Algebra 1, and it's different. And if you look at the data, you can even see we don't have comparable TEKS from last year. So the way that it's presented to them is very different. They're getting presented a lot of different things at once, and they're looking for patterns, and that's not usually how it goes in algebra. You start with linear, and then you move on through. But it's different this year. So I do want to focus on that and make sure that we're doing what we need to do.
Go ahead, come
I have a loud principal voice.
Join the fun.
I wanted to add for math, and I don't know if board members are aware, but we started something that has been directed by TEA, where at least 40% of our students at Gillette have to be in advanced math classes. What does that mean? Think about this. We have students sitting in advanced math, and they're learning in one semester all of the 7th grade TEKS. And in second semester, all of the 8th grade TEKS. And so as a 7th grader, they're going to take that 8th grade math STAR test. That's what is encouraging. The fact that we are able to do that for our students at Gillette Middle School with the help of our coaches and our teachers. That's what's encouraging. So just wanted to add that a little bit.
Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, how are you this evening? Okay, so for reading, I want you to know, I want to preface this by saying that I have learned so much, thanks to our coaching staff over there, about elementary education when it comes to reading. I did not know how much goes into it before, like I knew it, but I didn't really know it. They do a lot for the students that we don't see, that we don't know. The time they take to plan, to differentiate, to work with the students that are struggling at all points. It's not a one and done for them. So if you're ever in the classroom, please acknowledge that for them. They would love it. For the middle school, yes. Because many of our secondary students are reading at a first grade reading level or second, we're having to go backward.
And they are, I've seen a great increase in foundational skills that weren't there before. Now, you remember I did teach 8th grade English, so if anybody would know what it looks like when the gaps are there, it would be me. And so I've seen how the teachers are using the programs much more with fidelity than before to cover and close those gaps. So by all means. Now, the secondary, Dr. Zakita, has been very, very in the know when it comes to what her teachers are doing, so that has been helping. Now, for encouraging, there's more writing. I've seen more writing across the grade levels from the bottom to the top. Nobody is left out. There's more quick writes, there's more extended constructive responses. It's daily, and it's not just in English, I see it in math because we go into all of them. Now, is it fabulous yet? Of course not, because like anything else, it takes time. So the hope is that we continue to grow by continually implementing what we're doing now, as a team, as teachers, as a district. I hope that answers that.
I know this last week at the table talks that day, and one of the teachers gave a really good little example. He said, last year in my class, the kids that came to me, 3 out of the 17 were on level. He said, now I'm seeing the flip side of it. So this was second grade, I believe, no, maybe it was 4th grade. And so that was encouraging to see that, because I think there's more communication between grade levels and more ownership of, hey, look at who you're sending me. Are they prepared or not? And having those kind of fierce conversations. So I know our principals, they're being very diligent about being, very deliberate about being the instructional leader, being in the classrooms and helping our teachers with resources and support immediately, swiftly, as quickly as possible. And if they don't have something, they come to us and they let us know. And I appreciate the team jumping on it, but there's still a lot of work for us to do, but we're a little better off here.
And that being said, we do have one of our Reading Academy teachers that we would like to come up and share what she said. This is Ms. Marroquin, and she is the Reading Academy teacher from Perez Elementary.
And at the table talks, I had told Dr. De Leon, I kept hearing her name come up with every group that she works with and how much you have helped with our students. That one of our students whose parent wanted her child to be in special ed, and because of the growth that you had seen and the data that you had been keeping, you were able to bring a different perspective and really a very knowledgeable perspective about why this child really didn't need to go into special ed yet. So thank you for your work.
Good evening. Yes, we started our Reading Academy. It's been already about 7 weeks, because first we did the testing, we gathered data, and we wanted to see which students we were going to service according to in-class data, because that's the only thing we had. So we looked at that data and we grouped our groups. We tested them on the phonics, like Ms. Perkins said, the foundational skills were not there. So that phonics survey helped us to identify the groups, and then we grouped them together. We created a schedule, and we started right away teaching those foundational skills, which include the basic phonics letter sounds, the naming of the letters, reading CBC words, very basic, and also writing simple sentences, capital letter, periods. And when I went in and I got my groups, they were needing that. And this week, we're testing them again on the phonics survey. And boy, oh boy, I was telling my principal, I wanted to cry. We have seen progress, and that it was just so wonderful. There's growth, and I could see many of them growing to where I believe they're capable of. So yes, we're very excited. We are, as a team, we're working together. We've already met several times, and we've been sharing ideas and what resources we can use to better help our students.
Thank you, Ms. Keith.
Anybody for this motion? Any other questions for us?
We have the fall testing coming up right at HFT.
Yes.
And we talked about the master schedule changed to address the needs of students. And are we already pretty much
I know it's early, but I'd rather, do we have the testing, the kids, where they're gonna be tested pretty close to complete, or have we started that,
This week, sir, we're doing the cumulative assessments for the 9-week period. So the teaks that have been taught or the teaks that will be tested or will be assessed. Now, we're also looking at, in 2 weeks, looking at doing a Starlight release to kind of get a beginning of year for our STAR testing.
and do we know how many retesters we have?
At this time, I
This
don't,
time, no.
I don't have a number for you, but I can have one next time.
Okay.
Yes, sir, if you'd like.
Thank you.
Anything else? Thank y'all so much.
I do want to say that on the parts where it says staffing changes occurred,
Yes.
once we saw after like 4 weeks or so, 5 weeks, where a staffing change needed to occur, it occurred. Okay, so you may see 7th grade, 8th grade, it says at the top, it has a little asterisk at the top of each of the
Which
sections.
is 7th grade and 8th grade.
8th grade,
We had some staffing changes and,
8th grade reading.
right,
So,
so, and that always affects scores up and down.
You know, it's important that we take care of not only our teachers, but our staff members that are here that are doing this work. And because on top of all this, we have a shortage of teachers. And I'm hearing that in the campuses, or on the campus, we have these quality instructors. Y'all are quality people, okay, what y'all are doing. And we as a board have already decided that whatever resources are needed, Dr. Ballesteros, we are here. We sat down with the principals at one time. You had our promise,
And I was there with you, sir.
Yes, you were. Yes, you
I
were.
was there.
and you have our promise that whatever is needed, okay, that we need to provide that, because we need to take care of those that are there, and you all are filling the gaps. That's what you all are doing, and we appreciate that. We can't afford to lose you all. And so just rest assured, we're here to support.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, we appreciate it.
You know, the other thing is, it's unfortunate that education has come down to one test. And that's how we're all graded. And here we are looking at, again, tests and all that. And unfortunately, that's the only way that we have sometimes to measure. But I encourage y'all to not stop sharing the stories and the other evidences of growth with our students, because it sometimes is much more than just a number, just a test.
Our kids aren't
Thank you.
numbers, you're correct. Our kids aren't numbers, sir, they're kids. And they're our kids.
Miss Lovely.
I know, you saw me.
I can read your mind.
Come on, Miss Lovely. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you.
I just want to share just one of those little, when you said, they're about to be on the test. Miss Ruby, she had some kids that were showing growth, and I said, well, send them to me. I want to hear them read. And I might cry. And one little girl, and I've known her since I was at Harvey and she was at Harvey, and they moved, and she's been through a lot. And Miss Ruby was able to find some of those little foundational, and it's almost like a key. There's a lot that's there, and they're just missing that one little piece to unlock. And she said 2 little 4th grade girls to me, that one of them, when I told their mom, I called them. I said, "You want me to call your mom?" She said, "Yes." Granted, it wasn't 4th grade level, but it was 2nd grade level. And these 2 girls had never read a passage like this. And not only could they read it, they read it, they could tell me what they were reading. When I asked Miss Ruby, how much had they practiced before? She said they had only read it one other time before. So it wasn't like they had read it for weeks and weeks and weeks and came to me. They just read it. And I called one, I called her mom. Her mom's like, "No, you're pulling my leg." I was like, "No, she read and she knew what she was reading." And we talked about how can you do this at home? And I said, have her read your little brother. Have her pull those little books out and read your little brother and keep reading and keep reading. But and I know it's like we're gonna get these 2 kids these tests next week and the week after. They're not gonna score 4th grade level. They're not, because they're just unlocking these foundational skills. But just having them read to us and show off and then call the parents and say, "Guess what your kid just did?" I mean, those girls now have more confidence than ever. And I know Miss Ruby's already seen even a jump from last week with these 2. So those stories are out there, and if we can tell them, we'll keep telling them.
And even on work days, our Reading Academy teachers are working together. All of y'all met at Harvey, and we're working together voluntarily doing that. And the work days, the yellow days are really just their time to do whatever they need to do on their own. But they really championed this, and so appreciative.
So it's exciting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, at this point, we'll move on to item 3.
And this is just a really quick SHAC update, and Dr. Holt is just gonna come let you know a few tidbits about this.
Good evening. I just wanted to let you know that we're doing quite a bit of revamping of SHAC to try to encourage community participation. So the first thing is we attended all open houses, passed out hundreds of brochures, have revamped our website and the banner for the district, have actually set up a new signing process, which is a QR code, so parents, community members can simply scan and then upload their information. So far, we have 7 community members that are new within the last 2 weeks. We have 25 in-house members, that means KISD employees, counselors, nurses, central office, principals, all of those different sections of our district. We will have 3 meetings. I've already contacted those community members who have already signed up, sent them an email thanking them for joining, and have already talked to several of them on the phone. So I think maybe we're headed kind of turn this year. We have not had much participation in the last few years. I really am encouraged that will change this year. We're going to do our best to move that forward. Our 3 meetings will be in November. That will give us time to meet with those that are signing up to see what they want as far as topics. I'll give you a few in just a minute. So November 11th will be our first meeting. Our second meeting will be February the 10th, and our third meeting will be May the 12th. And then we may have something next summer if we're encouraged participation. For some of them have voice, maybe there might be a Saturday or a day where we can do a full half day or something like that for parents and communities. Our topics this year so far, we will probably go back with fentanyl. And again, this will be from our community input as well as we begin to meet with them. Because that fentanyl program was very well attended. I think Max Segovia has something coming out this October as well. We're going to address vaping. We always address curriculum multiple times throughout the process. We have a wellness report which is done by food services. It's OCHA. So we have bullying, sex trafficking, all of those that are very interesting topics right now to our parents and with about things that are going on. So those are just a few of the things we're doing and preparing to get a good launch started. Do you have any questions? Okay, I'll come back after our November 11th meeting, and you'll also vote on members at that point. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. All right, we're moving on to item number 6B, which is the budget recap report check register for August 2024. It's going to be found on page 37 to 43 of our packet. Dr. Pitts.
Thank you, Mr. Paul, Dr. Pettis, members of the board. Just a couple of items on the check register. You see that we had a couple of hot months, set us for 2 months for direct energy. Coastal Bend College, that is for 1 semester and 1 summer session. Fairly expensive, but I know Dr. Sandoval has been working to get the college courses free of charge, is it, Dr. Sandoval?
That program.
And that'll be starting next year. We have 1 more outstanding invoice to Coastal Bend College, and then we'll be caught up, and then it should be free of charge moving forward. I'll take any other questions that you have on the check register.
I have a question on Richard Williams.
Yes, sir.
Energy Consulting Services. Who is this person?
That person, he presented at a board meeting. He was the one who did the lighting audit of all the different campuses, and that was the fee for his services to get in and look at every single light in the district and provide us an estimate of how much it would cost to replace and how much money we would save.
Is he still with us?
We have not moved forward in that project unless directed.
So I have a question regarding the tuition. I was under the impression for the last meeting that the FAST program that Coastal College is going to enter this fall 24 and spring 25. So is that not the case, or?
I believe, Mr. Reese, that this payment is not from this year, it's from last year.
But moving forward,
Moving forward,
FAST,
they are in the FAST program, but I do want to make sure I'm very clear on something. It's based on those kids that meet their qualifications, they get free reduced lunch.
right.
So it's not every single kid qualifies, but we're about 88%, free reduced, so, and that's at the high school specifically, so most of our kids should qualify for the FAST program,
So that could definitely see some huge savings
definitely.
at the end of the,
Yeah.
because I know they, you don't get reimbursed until the end of the term, so it would be some, the institution itself, so we should see some savings. But already, it's not next year, it's
Yeah,
actually,
that's correct, but we'll still see expenditures on textbooks, because that's not covered, but
right.
definitely.
Ancillary costs is the responsibility of the ISD. Okay, thank you.
We're also gonna be meeting with Del Mar to see if they can do some in-person instructing for us, if they can come over here. We were just meeting with Ms. Moore today, Dr. Sandoval and I, about some of those things, so.
The gentleman that came and gave that presentation,
Yes, sir.
going back to Mr. Menendez's question, that was that Williams guy,
Yes, that's correct.
and he charged us $7,000
Yes.
to do.
To do the lighting
Assessment,
audit
whatever
or
you did.
the assessment, yes.
Thanks, Dr.
On the T-Mobile charges, are those cell phones, or is that, who has those cell phones, or are they, what is it, another, service that we use?
No, it sells service. We use T-Mobile for a couple of different things. That particular one is cell phones, mostly maintenance department, some technology. But we also use T-Mobile for our bus Wi-Fi, but that's not this particular one. And then we have used it we use them for hotspots for students during the pandemic as well. But this
And then,
is strictly for
on the pest control, Mr. Horta, was he the one we used before? Or is this our guy in district in-house?
No, Orta is, he's with Reduced Pest Control.
Okay,
So, whatever we cannot handle, we have to contract.
There's
Okay.
I believe there are certain chemicals
chemicals.
that can only be handled by Horta. I believe that's the case.
I
'Cause I
think,
think we did away with them on certain things, but there are just certain things that we cannot. do.
right, I agree with you.
Yeah.
So it's our person in the district, is he gonna get licensed to do that? Or do we have to run under another company?
Yes, Dr. Sandoval.
I'll speak a little bit to this. We do have an IPM coordinator in the district that is able to do all applications. We did run into an issue earlier in the year where one of the applications that we're administering at Harvey Elementary was not working, so we wanted to try something different to address the issue we're having with pests and roaches and ants. So we went ahead and called Reduced Pest Control to address that issue.
Dr. Pitts, going back to the LED lighting
Yes,
audit,
ma'am.
what other service will you be getting out of that if we didn't choose to go to LED lights? If he counted and checked every single light bulb, what other service would we get from that?
What other service do we need moving forward?
Would we get from that, I mean, paying him to do that?
There is no other
Would it
service.
just been an investment if we decided to go with LED lighting?
We would need to do, that is the first step in order to see how much you can save and what you need to do to try to do a lighting retrofit. That's
And
the
is
first
that
step.
what we have to do? Because I know we had an audit of the roofs. So we paid them to do the audits of the roofs?
No, Garland is, they do the roofing audit in order to get, there's two ways to do audit, to do like a consultant audit. One is that they get either a percentage of it, which Garland doesn't get a percentage, but when we do, they are Garland roofs. So anytime they were to replace a garland roof, they use garland materials. So basically, they get a cut of it moving forward when you use it in the RFPs. The other way is to pay somebody to do it up front. In other words, they do not get a cut of the action. They don't get any commission moving forward. And the lighting and energy consultant did it, he didn't do it on a commission base, he did it on a fee base.
You have a written report that at least has a comprehensive listing of every electrical light fixture in the district. Is that correct?
Yes, and how much it would cost to replace every one of those and how much we would save.
But not just replacing with LED lights, it could be replacing with any type of.
No, we would replace it with LED lights. That's how you get the savings.
Right, but if we're not doing the LED lights, then what information do we get from it? I think we need some clarity on it. Like, what other information does that report give us? Nothing? It's just-
That is
That is what it is
it
for.
gives us. It gives how much money we could save by converting from incandescent lighting to LED lighting.
So that was the $7,000.
That was the $7,000. And if, again, the only other way to do it would be to get someone to come in and to say that they're gonna get a cut of the action if you, in other words, and you would pay so much more money, like, for instance, if we did it on our own, it would take us probably 2.5 years to recoup the amount of money that we put in. But if you get someone to come in, they would give you 15 years. It would take you 15 years because basically they would be getting all the savings for 15 years. So that's not, I know we did something like that a long time ago for an energy upgrade, but that's not the way to do it because they took all the savings for 15 years. And again, the district is the one that loses out if we choose to move forward on that.
Any other questions regarding
Yes,
this?
I have a question, one question. On these teachers and coaches who pay for their own, I guess they use their own card to get reimbursed for student meals. Do you have, what's the turnaround time? What is your own departmental policy? Like, you want to get those back in 2 weeks or a month or?
Are you talking about the receipts? Because we give the coach a check that based on how many kids are going, and what meal, $6.50 for breakfast, $7.50 for lunch, $8.50 for dinner. And then they have to bring back a receipt and any extra money that was not used that's not on the receipt. And they're supposed to do that right when they get back within the next few days. When they come back, we don't like them holding on to that.
All right, if there are no further questions, thank you, Dr. Pick. We'll move on. Item number 7, new business. 7A, by common consent, the board agrees to consider as one action item the following: approval of special board meeting minutes of August 27, 2024. You've had the minutes in your packet for review. Is there a motion to approve?
So move.
Motion made by Mr. Ruiz. Seconded by Mr. Morales. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, any opposition? Motion carries 7-0. Discussion and possible action regarding memorandum of understanding between the Coastal Bend Wellness Youth Programs Department and Kingsville ISD. This can be found on page 48 to 52 of our packet. Dr. Pitts.
Thank you, Mr. Kufal. This program is a renewal from last year. This has no fee to the district. It is a presentation where from the Coastal Bend Wellness Foundation, they come into our classes and they have presentations on drug and alcohol and tobacco awareness. They have character education programs, talking about peer pressure, talking about anti-bullying, and we had great success with it last year, and we are requesting a renewal of this MOU for next year.
do they come in?
I see that instruction is not here, but, are you asking in regards to security
No.
or?
Here's what I'm asking. What color day is this done on? Are we taking away from instructional time to cover something that we've already talked about other programs covering also?
I will have to get back to you on
Thank you.
No, I know they use them during Right Brain Fridays. I also know that they, use them, well, it's like Coastal Plains, like they're called on an as-needed basis. I know they use them during like Red Ribbon Week, it's gonna be coming up in October. And it's a free resource, so we're able to reach out to them.
Could they work with SHAC? Is this something that the SHAC committee could kind of look at to see if we've got some double dipping some places, or is there?
Mr. Segovia, do you come up?
Good evening. Yes, they can be used for SHAC. Also, we're going to be using them for parental and family engagement. They'll be doing presentations throughout the year. Matter of fact, one of our presentations is going to be this month. It's going to be at the Goodwill Training Center, the evening. And the topic will be attendance and truancy. But I already have planned that we've already met with the people from the Project Turnaround, and we'll be utilizing them for vaping or other topics. So they'll be used throughout the year.
You know, Mr. Segovia sat in that coalition stakeholder meeting that we had with Coastal Bend Wellness Center. Great turnout. Mr. Segovia represented the district well, and I thank you, Max, for being there. It's a good resource. These people have a lot of resources that we need to tap into, and
that's where we reached out to Goodwill, and that's where we
yes, that's correct.
Matter of fact, like I said, we'll be going to their facilities and reaching out to the public.
What really program that caught me, Max, was the one that they're paying for free work. People, they'll hire people. There are people who are over a certain age. They'll train them, and they'll pay nothing to the district, to the county, or wherever. They'll train them. You just want to put these people to work. So
I did reach out to John Pettis and the Boys and Girls Club to see if there's some people there.
Yeah, it's all good.
Thank you.
All right, are there any other questions regarding this program? If not, you've heard the presentation and the recommendation that the board approve the memorandum of understanding between the Coastal Bend Wellness Youth Programs Department and Kingsville ISD. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Garcia. Second. Seconded by Mr. Pettis. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries 7-0. Item C, discussion and possible action regarding Texas A&M University Kingsville dual enrollment memorandum of understanding for the 2024-2025 school year. This can be found on page 53 to 73 of our packet. Dr. Sandoval.
Thank you, Mr. Kufal, Board Trustees, Dr. Pettis. I'm here tonight to present to you the MOU between Texas A&M University Kingsville and Kingsville ISD. This MOU is similar to what we brought to you in years past. We have reviewed it, attorneys have reviewed it as well, and given us our blessing to go ahead and present it to the board. This MOU with TAMU also includes the FAST program. Currently, we've got 218 students going to CBC and going to TAMU. Second semester, we will transition more kids to TAMU, just like we did last year. But as Dr. Pettis mentioned, we are looking into partnering with Del Mar. Del Mar has been very gracious in reaching out to us, and we're definitely going to roll out the red carpet and see what options they can offer us in terms of courses that can be taught at Kingsville ISD or HMK. So we're definitely looking at that. But right now, we are working with Temple. Temple's a great partner of ours. We want to work with them and continue serving our early college high school program through Tempe. So, we are asking that the board consider and approve the, MOU for Tempe and
Sandoval, I'm sorry, the 218 at CBC and how many at Tillamook?
It's 4 at Tempe. Last year what we did, we started the semester, at CBC and we do the second semester, in person, there at Tempe because we want to transition the kids slowly. That first semester, we do a lot of, virtual class, just to transition to college courses. Second semester, we do, face-to-face classes. We are having some difficulty getting face-to-face when it comes to Ancient King, so that's one of the reasons we're gonna be looking at Del Mar as a potential partner as well, to bring more of those instructors to our kids versus having to send our kids to them or do virtual classes.
Any other questions?
Who, when it goes virtual, if our kids are at HM, who's the instructor or the person, a Kingsville person that's in the room with them?
We do have advisors, Mr. Bayless, in all the classrooms that are the E2020 or the college courses. So they're the advisor helping out during that time, and the days when we don't have instruction, they're working on college classes or doing any work that needs to be done at that time.
Thank you, sir.
All right, if there's no further questions, we've heard the discussion and the recommendation to approve the Texas A&M University Kingsville dual enrollment memorandum of understanding between Tillamook and Kingsville ISD for 2024-2025 school year. Is there a motion to approve? Motion made by Ms. Salinas, seconded by Mr. Chapa. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries 7-0. Item 7D, discussion and possible action regarding purchases over $50,000. This can be found on page 74 and 75 of our packet. Dr. Pitts.
Thank you, Mr. Kuf. Thank you, Mr. Kufal. Every year, we have a line item budgeted for replacing Chromebooks for students. Some of them are, their auto update expires. They're not compatible anymore with new software. Some of them, they're just broken. So we budget for, what we did this year is I got with every single principal, Dr. Garcia and myself, and we saw how many needed to be replaced this year. And it was in the high 400s, and we have a couple extra that we budgeted in there just to make sure we have enough for all the testing this year. So we're procuring quotes. I already have 2, should get the third one tomorrow. The lowest quote will be the one that we go for. And then Great Salt Texas is the ransomware protection software for our district. That is an annual amount. I'll take any questions here.
Dr. Pitts, so we know it's gonna be 150?
It's gonna be lower than that.
Okay.
To be honest, I already have a quote that is in the 120,000s. At that time, I didn't know, but we started receiving the quotes, and it is gonna be lower than that.
Okay. What's the life of a Chromebook?
Well, the auto update expires 2033. That does not mean, that just means it won't be compatible anymore in 9 years, but we'll see if the physical device lasts 9 years.
And kind of follow up on Brian's question, what about if someone breaks it? Do we have insurance with these people?
Dr. Garcia, do you have an answer to that? I mean, I know that we have,
They do come with a limited warranty. They do come with a limited warranty when it comes to manufacturing and the process of the laptop, but when it comes to normal wear and tear, dropping the device, those types of things, they don't cover unless we purchase extra protection for that. And so that's not part of the quote.
Do these go home with the kids or do they stay in the classrooms?
It depends. So most of the devices stay now on campus. Our early college high school students do take their devices. Dual credit students will take devices, but for the most part, we try to keep them on campus.
Yes.
Now that we're back on campus.
Dr. Garcia, is there anything out there where we can sort of have like a maintenance plan, maybe upgrade every so many years. The tablets, instead of having to buy them, maybe lease them, rent them, or I don't know.
Y'all have refurbished several, those that are salvageable. I know that over the
Yes,
years.
so our techs and staff are able to refurbish and upgrade as much as we can possibly, and we do try to extend the lifetime of the devices, replacing keyboards, keys, screens, hardware within it, hard drives, wireless access points, all those things, and so we try as best as we
Well,
can.
technology changes every
Yes,
year.
we try to do that internally, again, just making sure that they're compatible with the latest software that our curriculum department is using, that they can see those updates and continue to work, within those other programs.
Thank you, doctors.
But that leasing option could be very viable. I mean, something that I have no idea, but I think that's just something that is out there.
I don't know of any leasing programs that they have. I know that they do sell refurbished equipment, which is what we do already. But a lot of times the latest devices are.
And the only reason why I say that, because we use our tablets for our transportation system. And so the ones that we have, I won't give the vendor's name, but every 2 years, we get a whole new set of tablets. So that's why I was asking that question.
I'll ask,
I'm just
resources.
as out there. Thank you.
All right, any other questions regarding the over $50,000 purchases?
So moved.
There's been a motion made by Mr. Garcia to approve the purchases. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Morales. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries 7-0. Item 7E, discussion and possible action regarding the 2025 health insurance plans, premiums, district contribution, and benefits. This can be found on page 76 to 79 of our packet. Dr. Pitts.
Thank you, Mr. Kufal. Currently, our carrier is Aetna, and if we were just to continue with that, again, that contract would roll over, no board action is needed. Also, we currently contribute $479 per employee per month, per all our employees per month. Again, if we want to continue with that, no action is needed. The thing that we need action on from the board is to make some changes. These are the proposed changes that we're recommending. As you see the 3 different plans. We are moving from 4 plans to 3 plans. There was that one plan that was running at an 180% loss limit, so it was losing quite a bit of money. So we are moving from 4 plans. We're proposing to move from 4 plans to 3 plans. You see the rates last year and this year, and the plan changes on there. That does require board action to approve the plans for the coming year. The other thing that requires board action, again, we want to continue to do the telemedicine for all employees. We want to continue the life insurance benefit for all employees. And we are asking to remove the $50 per month ancillary benefit credit for employees who do not elect a health insurance plan with KISD. I'll take any questions that you have.
And if there are no questions, you've seen the presentation and heard the recommendation. Is there a motion to approve as presented?
I have a question. So this is for a whole year?
This will be from January 1, 2025, all the way to December 31, 2026. These would be the rates in effect for that whole year, right? Currently, the rates that you see on the 2024 are still in effect until December 31 of 2024.
And just to ask that question that she just asked, it's 12 months.
Yes, from January 1 all the way to December 31 of 2025. No changes would be made until January 1 of 2026. And we would have to bring something well in advance of that to the board for you to consider looking at before that.
So biggest difference is when we just taking that $50 away.
We're taking that $50 away. We are changing premiums. Again, they're modestly. Those changes have come before the board several times. There's some minor plan changes in there too, but it's very minimal compared to, I guess, where we eventually need to go in the future. But this is the first step. This is the first time in probably 15 years that employees have seen an increase in premiums. It's a modest premium, but again, it's something that will need to be done a little bit every year so that we don't have to have a drastic change at some time in the future. This is what's needed to really keep the plan viable.
Dr. Pitts, thank you so much. I know we have Bill Esquivel as our consultant, and if I can, have him come in and just say a few things just about this. Bill?
President, superintendent, board members, hey, that was a heck of a game. We almost got that game. But you know, it certainly gives us a lot of pride, don't it? I mean, so, but anyway, business-wise, you know, I mean, we've given y'all several suggestions. We know that it has to get funded a little bit more. 479 is pretty cheap, but the good thing is that the doc is doing due diligence and not only putting the 479 for those that are covered, he's putting the 479 for all the employees in case we have some kind of shortfall. So there's a good cushion there. There's about, what, Doc, what do you think in reserve?
300,000 in reserve right now?
300,000 in reserves, you know, in case, you know, there's a bad year or something, even though that's not a lot. But I think with the changes we're making, it would make the balance much more healthier, and I would feel more comfortable that we did some increases, you know, on the premium because it's needed, you know. And as we saw, the premiums are much lower than anyone across the our region. The benefits are a lot richer than the benefits in the region, and we can certainly use this as a recruiting tool to keep our teachers and bring new teachers in, because even with the changes, we're ahead of the game. In the sense of competition for a group health plan for their employees, so.
You know, at our workshop, Phil, Dr. Bettis posed the question, where can we cut certain things, whatever we can do, something like that.
And like, what could they do to help us keep them?
Yeah, right. There you go. What are they gonna be able to do for us, you know, give us something to help to keep this coverage. And I think part of that, I think Ed needs to come to the table also as we implement or promote our medication program. Give our teachers, give our administrators some incentive aside from what they're already getting. So we can get that up, because that's gonna save us a lot of money also. So just get with Edna and tell them, hey, but they are on the radar. We're looking at them now. You know, so Pitts is back there, he's loaded. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the shot.
That's right, he's loaded. You know what I'm saying? And he doesn't shoot from the hip. So, you know, we've got to be ready for that. Just, you can do that for us.
And you know, and one big recommendation, again, I know it's like beating the dead horse, but we need to get everyone active in that medication assistance program.
Right.
And remember, that's eligible for everyone in town. You don't have to just be a teacher. Everyone can get that help with their medications.
So if you communicate that with our staff, maybe come on Fridays, you know, when we're here for PDs or for work days.
Well, you know, they're ready anytime. Well, it's a joint project, okay? I mean, it's a diabetes education, which is one of the largest claims departments we have is diabetes. And they come do the diabetes education to educate them. And then they check them once a quarter free of charge, and they work with their doctor. And then then from there, they'll send them to the medication assistance program once they diagnose their diabetics. And some don't even know they're on. The last time we came with a maintenance program, we had 4 guys that didn't even know they were diabetic with 300 glucose levels. So, you know, I mean, it's a really.
For diabetes, is not for anybody else.
Oh, it's for hypertension, the drugs they can get for hypertension, mental, inflammatory, any drugs that are brand name other than generic, most of them that have, especially the specialty drugs.
Yeah.
That poor people get stuck with that cost. They can go with a $20 copay versus, 30% of the, $500 deductible and 30% of the bill. I sent you to it. Did it work out?
I've got an appointment tomorrow.
There you go. So I said, Jake, because
I gotta save some money, I'm gonna.
Jake's in that donut hole right now with Medicare, you know what I mean? And so, and
I'm
they
always
help
checking
people
my
with
debit
Medicare.
card. CVS hole.
Yeah, they're gonna put
That's
some,
the donut hole. That's-
yeah, so, I mean, it's a valuable tool and it's free of charge. So
Thank you.
that's up to you.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you so much.
All right, you've heard the recommendation. Is there a motion to approve as presented?
Moving forward, and I'm big on letting everybody know early, showing the differences that the people are gonna be paying. And y'all have done that already, meeting with pastors and, back in the meetings and things like that. I think, you're being ready for a lot of questions probably, and y'all have already been clear with your communication, but anything that goes up, even though it's a great plan, when we do have an increase, we're gonna have a bunch of questions. So I appreciate that, y'all are lining up and going to these campuses and they're gonna let them know, what's happening and why it's happening, and compare it to everybody around us.
Yes, as Phil said, we still have the best insurance in the region as far as how rich our plan is, and we still have the lowest premiums.
But that's the key, like you said, is, show everybody else.
Show it to them and let them know, because it's that will have a big impact on people, even though it did go up a little bit, we're still lower than everybody.
Yes.
Which is a big selling tool for us.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Dr. Pitts.
Thank you.
Motion made by Mr. Chapman,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Pettis. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Item F, discussion and possible action regarding the 2024 tax roll resolution. This can be found on page 80 and to 82 of our packet. Dr. Pitts.
Thank you, Mr. Kufal. Every year, this is presented up to us from the tax assessor. You see the revision on the tax roll that Mrs. Bettis presented you. Do you have any questions?
He gave you a couple of current.
Well, can you give us a class for dummies?
Sure. Let's pull it up. I'm not gonna go over every item, but I'm gonna highlight on the most important items right here. You see, let's see, do we have a laser pointer? So in Clayburgh County, right there, you see the number 13,212 parcels. Those could be commercial, those could be residential, but altogether, the total market value is $2 million. That doesn't mean we collect taxes on all of those $2 million. There, you see that there's many exclusions for ag, like some properties for one reason or another, they don't pay tax. They might have an exclusion for ag or for any of these others. You see, can you scroll down a little bit more? So all of these different amounts, these are the different categories. You see that some are even charitable, some are exempt for other reasons. But if you scroll down to the very bottom, it gives you, okay, I'm sorry, scroll up to the middle right there. It gives you the count for state homestead, how many are over 65, how many are disabled, and again, all of those they get exemptions or they get freezes on their taxes so that it doesn't keep increasing every year. So if you scroll down a little bit more, so you see partial exemption amount, this is how much are exempt from taxes, and then what is the taxable value that's left? This is all that's left from that $2 million that is at the beginning for our market value. The only amount that's
Not
taxed.
2 million, right?
I'm sorry, 2 billion, yes, thank you. 2 billion taxable value, only 1.1 billion are we allowed to get tax on. So with our tax rate, this is the tax levy, $15 million that we are supposed to collect. That is both on the M&O side and on the INS side. That's how much we're supposed to get from our taxes this year. We don't always get all of it, but we usually get 97, 98% of that amount. And you can see here how much is frozen, like for instance, if they're disabled or under 65, and there's different exemptions in there, frozen levy amount. And then the total parcels that are not exempt, 13,210. Could you scroll a little bit to the right? And then all the way to the top. So this is our tax rate. This is the total tax rate, 1.4104. That's the same amount as our tax rate last year. It didn't go up at all. It did go down quite a bit from the previous year. 2 years ago, our tax rate was 1.5189, and it had been that way for about 12 years or maybe more. But we went down because the biggest reason is the state had a big move their homestead exemption to 100,000. So we were able to, at that time, also decrease our tax rate and save our taxpayers a lot of money. We did not reduce it all the way down lower than what we could, because right now we are using the 1.4104 to help pay off our existing debt, which is going to save, again, it saved our taxpayers $3 million over the last 20 million years. $3 million over the last 20 years. Wow, 20 million years, that would be a long time. I don't think I'd be around. But so basically this is just a breakdown of what is the total taxable value in the district, what is the total market value, what are the exemptions, and then with our tax rate, how much money we can expect to get from taxes. And again, this comes from our tax assessor. Any other questions?
All right, if there are no questions, you've read the resolution that the tax assessor collector has presented to us for the calculation of the amount of revenue we should be received based upon the figures presented. Is there a motion to approve this?
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Garcia. Seconded by Mr. Pettis. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Item number 8. The board will enter into closed session in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code 551.071 and 551.074 to deliberate and consider the following. A, consider and deliberate regarding the employment of contracted personnel, network administrator. B, discussion with legal counsel regarding legal and personnel matters. No action will be taken until we return to open session. We are entering closed session at 6:56 p.m. We now return to open session to take necessary action on matters which the board may discuss in open session and upon which action may be taken. We're returning to open session at 7:19 PM. Item A, discussion and possible action regarding the employee of contracted personnel. Dr. Pettis.
Administration recommends that the Board of Trustees approve the following contracted employee as presented in executive session for network administrator.
You've heard the recommendation of the superintendent. Is there a motion to approve? So moved. Motion made by Mr. Pettis,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Ruiz. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries 7-0. There being no further action to come before this board, I declare this board meeting adjourned at 7:19 PM.